Good evening, friends. Logically, this would be our last chapter of our curriculum. Today's session will be a brief overview of file handling. As as we know, we have been writing programs from the first chapter, and as you might have observed, definitely, and these doubts crop up in our mind. I have been running program. I have been entering the data. I have been creating structure uh, of a particular student or an employee, and I have been storing data. But as soon as my program ends, nothing is there stored. So whatever you do, that is completely temporary. Only because you run the program in the main memory, your data, whatever data you enter, that is in the main memory. Whatever you get the output, that is again in the main memory. So whole process takes place only in the main memory. And when you come outside the program, when control goes outside the main function, nothing is there because you haven't made any provision to store that data permanently. But in real world, in many cases, data has to be stored permanently, right? For example, data on the website. Okay, if you're login, then that login ID password is permanently stored in some file. And when you try to log into that site, right, then your login ID password is compared along with those which have been stored on the database of your account. So once that those matches, then you can enter into the site. So that is again database permanently stored. At the same time, you can change the password. So those changes are made not on your browser, but actually on in the database. So obviously, no, file handling is a intrinsic part of any programming language. As far as C language is concerned, the same concepts have been, as I told, are carried forward as those are by all programming languages. So need of the file handling is storing the data permanently and retrieval. Okay, so storing is one part, retrieval is another part. Now retrieval consists of just retrieval of the data or modifying the data or no modify contains lot of things. It may be deleting the record, that is also modification. Altercation of the data, that is also modification. Just reading the data, that is one of the important part of that. So that's why we need that file handling. Difference lies here only, how the file is handled, right? Or how the file is interpreted. As far as C is concerned, it is a stream of bytes. Okay? In other languages, interpretation or its picture is a bit different. First of all, at the abstract level, what I am trying to tell you, at the abstract level, it is 0 and 1, right? But the upper layers interpretation might differ from language to language. As far as C language is concerned, since C is very close to the machine, very probably we can say it is the closest language to the machine. And since machine has got 0101 format, the same format is used for handling the file. That is a so it is they call it is a stream oriented file. Right? Uh, this is a technical word, stream oriented. Another is byte oriented, but that is different story altogether. So this is stream oriented. So byte oriented usually use if you want to make changes in the hardware interfacing and all that. That doesn't come under the this our C language course. But when you deal along with embedded programming, okay, embedded C, that is a byte oriented C, because you need to interact along with the hardware. Right? So as far as our scope is concerned, it is a stream of bytes. Now, if you look at this term stream of bytes, just imagine you have gone somewhere. There is a stream of water at the roadside, right? Small stream of water. And if you look at that stream at a particular point, okay, and at a particular point, if you see a drop of a water, you cannot follow that drop of a water, okay, because it is so mixed along with drops of water ahead and behind that drop. Okay, I think you can visualize what I am trying to say you. Similarly, here the zero and ones are, they look such a same that you will get confused. That's why they have used the same concept as a stream of bytes. In real world, it is a stream of water. Now, how does it take place? First of all, our concern as far as the permanent storage is concerned will be hard disk. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's a hard disk or a floppy disk or whatever, but we store our files on the hard disk, right? Now, when you try to open the file, you try to open any file through program. I'm telling you through program. But let's keep aside the programming. Normal computer operations. When you try to open any file, Word file or your program even, this file is permanently stored on the hard disk at a particular path. And all these files have got registry maintained by the operating system. So when you open the file, that uh, suppose icon is there, some icon is there, or folder is there. Folder is there, inside that file is there. That file, that name, these are basically, that itself is not a file. That is just a picture. That is just an icon, right? Or in a programming language, we can say it is just a pointer. It is just a pointer, and that points to the file on the hard disk. So what you are trying to do with the help of pointer, when you double click that operating system searches for that file on the hard disk and it is open, right? This is a explanation at the crude level, okay, at the for the layman. For the programmer, what why I'm telling you, because we have learned that pointer. That's why I'm using the terminology the pointer. When I talked about the pointer and its use, if you can recall, first best use of pointer we used in the dynamic memory allocation, because without pointer you cannot allocate the memory from the heap. Same is true for the file handling. Without pointer you cannot operate on the file. So here comes the second best use of pointer. So when any other programming languages say that they don't have pointers, it is not possible. They have pointers, but all these are hidden in lower layers. What you do at the upper level, upper layer, uppermost layer. So if you take a Python, then at the Python or even Java, what you do, what you write, what you deal along with the program is at the superficial level, which is very easy. Programmer efficient programming languages. But at the bottom level, there are pointers without which file cannot be retrieved from the hard disk. So same is here. In case of C language, you open the file that is loaded from the hard disk to the main memory. When you open the file, image is created on the main memory. Actual file is still in the hard disk. Don't forget this. When file is opened, that image is sent to the RAM or a main memory. When you close as it is, it will be saved at that location. If you make changes, then it will ask you whether to save this file. I mean, you even press space bar. Okay, you have not typed anything, but you make a single change, single key press. The operating system feels that file has been changed. So while closing, it will ask you whether to save that file or not. If you save that, that image will replace the original file on the hard disk. That is very important. So that image is important. And when we do a programming in C, we play along with the image of that file. Hmm? And that image will be saved again on the hard disk. Now, first of all, this data in the image and data on the hard disk, there is a stream of bytes, right? Stream of bytes. At the same time, your program and the main memory, there is a stream of bytes, right? So that's why I showed you it is the 0101. The relevance is related with that. But I'm going to talk about the mode of opening files. Right? The important concept here is the buffer. You will be asked during the interviews, what is a buffer? Buffer is a part of memory, right? Exclusively used for file handling. Buffer is not a data segment, mind you. Buffer is a exclusive part of main memory in which the image of the file is stored. Now, buffer management is done by the operating system. It is not your task. Okay. So that buffer is a very important concept, and you should know that everything is done through the buffer. When you open the file, it will be transfer. Operating system will load that file in the buffer, and whatever you do, once that you deal along with the buffer. I mean data in the buffer. The reason is that accessing content from the hard disk is time consuming, whereas accessing content from the buffer is very fast. To give an example, if you store data on your phone memory, it is fast. If you store data on your storage card, it is slow. Okay. Sometimes you may recognize, sometimes you may not recognize, but it is fast when it is in the main memory of your mobile. Same happens here. So that is a buffer. Now, when that buffer is created, I don't know whether you have observed this or not. When you open any file, a Word file or a PowerPoint file, rather you create a file, not open, you create an application and you create a file. Just imagine that, or rather try to visualize that. When you open Word file or PowerPoint file, how the operating system will come to know how many slides you are going to create, how many images you are going to create, how many how much animation you are going to create, or in the Word file how many pages will be there, whether they will be 10 pages or 50 pages or 500 pages or 1000 pages. Operating system doesn't know that, right? So what would be the size of the file, right? So some default size is given by the operating system. Similarly here, size of the buffer is also default, which expands, which shrinks, and this whole thing is managed by the operating system. Unnecessarily, it will not give you too much buffer. So each operating system has got its own buffer management, and buffer size is varies from machine to machine, compiler to compiler, okay, operating system to operating system. But for us, for us important is a buffer, right? Next, what are types of files in C? There are basically two types of files. One is a text file and another is a binary file. They ask you questions on this during the interview or during the Viva. Okay. Usually, interview starts on the concepts of C language. Usually, even though companies are interested in taking candidate for the Python or a JavaScript or a full stack developer or PHP, anything, even web development. I've got many students who are working. As soon as they get the job, they actually tell me, okay, rather they give me feedback. How was the interview? And they surprisingly they tell, sir, the company was looking for web designer or web application developer, but they asked me question on C language. so, so basically, they wanted to check how much your basic or fundamental things are clear. So this is one of the question that is a first was the buffer. They ask you on the buffer. Next is this. What is the difference between text file and binary files? Students usually say that this is how the file can be opened in text mode. This is how file can be stored in binary mode. This is not important. Okay? That is a no syntactical way of giving answer. Interviewer do not expect syntax or syntactical answers from engineers. They expect what you have understood. So basically, text file is stored as it is. So whether it is a special character, whether it is an alphabet, whether it is digit, each of that character takes 1 byte because all are characters, right? That's why it is a text file. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is a number. This is a number. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a number. This will be when you store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You store on the when you take input from the keyboard and store it in the integer format. Then obviously, since it is an integer, it will take suppose 2 bytes of memory or 4 bytes of, on depending upon the size of the integer. But suppose you store that number in the file, then it will not be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it will be in character format. So one has got some bit pattern like 0011 triple 1. You know that on the basis of ASCII chart, because one will be having the ASCII value as 48 and 48 bit pattern of 48 integer 48, right, will be 0011 triple 01. 2 ASCII value is 49, right? 49 is the ASCII value, and bit pattern of 49 will be 0011 0010. That one will be shifted to the second position, right? Rather index having 1. So similarly, that 3 will be stored. So in the file, 5 bytes of memory will be consumed, right? So if this number is suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will be stored in 4 bytes. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will be stored in the 8 bytes in the file. That is the text file, right? It will be in text format. Binary format will be obviously efficient because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be stored as a integer, right? Not stored as an integer, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be the bit pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will be formed, and bit pattern of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 will take at the most 18 bytes, 2 bits or 2 bytes. I mean, okay, 16 bits are sufficient. So only 2 bytes of memory will be consumed, on the contrary to so many bytes for the uh, 5 bytes in case of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the text file. So that is a major difference. Now the question is uh, which one to use? Text files, different applications, binary files where numbers are more. Okay, particular data, the particular data file is there, and numbers are more. In that case, binary should be preferred. Okay. Second thing is that if some files are to be encrypted, decrypted, that is there, then binary files are there. Other type of files are apart from the text file, all other files are stored in binary format, like a sound file. Okay, it cannot be stored in text format, right? Or a video file that cannot be stored in text format. So it has to be stored in a binary format. Okay? Or our OBJ file. OBJ file, our when you compile the program, the OBJ file is created, right? So that OBJ file is basically in the binary coding. That's why you cannot read that file because binary file has to be opened in a binary has to be opened in using the binary mode. uh, there is you cannot exchange so that you can store in a binary mode and open in a text mode. That is not possible, right? So if you are storing the file in text format, you have to read back in the text format. Rather, you have to retrieve in text format, text mode. If you're storing the file in binary format, then you have to read it back in the binary format. Rather, you have to process it using the binary mode, right? These are basic file handling operations. So creating a new file is creating a new file. Okay, basic operation. Opening an existing file. So existing file is opening. Okay, just open, nothing, doing nothing. Reading from the file. Okay, so obviously read, write, and modification. That is append mode. Three modes are there. Okay, everything can be done. So for that, file has to be opened. So one of the major first step of all these file handling operations is the opening the file. Now, how these modes work, depending upon the modes of opening, that we will cover. But as I said, these are uh, basic file operations: creating a new file, opening an existing file, the reading from the file, writing to the file, right? Moving to specific location in a file, that is also required, right? If you want to change something, if you want to insert something, that pointer has to be shifted to that specific location. Okay, some macros are there, and closing a file. So these are basic file handling operations. Fine. Now what is important here is the file structure, because when you when I started today's session, I talked about the pointer, right? In case of a dynamic memory allocation, a heap is a part of that data segment. And to allocate memory from the heap, you need a pointer, and that pointer is on the stack. Similarly here, to open a file or to create a file which is going to be on the hard disk, you need a pointer on your main memory, in your memory, right? That pointer will deal along with that file on the hard disk. So integer, to store integer constant on a heap, you need an integer pointer. To store a float, you need a float pointer. To store a string or a single character, you need a character pointer. The same philosophy. If you want to store number of elements, okay, which are part of a structure, you need a structure pointer. So if you want to create a file, open a file, modify the file, you want to do any operation, you need a file pointer. But the question is that what about the file structure? So similar to printf, scanf, this, that, number of functions are there. The library developers have given you file structure. Now this file structure may not be unique. What I have given you is just one of the file structure. It will change. Linux will be having, other vendors will be having, like ID compiler, various compilers are there, operating systems are there. So that internally is managed, right? So as far as file structures, we are not going into the details of this. What are these uh, structure members? Okay, how do they work and all these things? Because two things are there. First of all, whichever file structure is there, that is not unique throughout the world. Second, some common elements are there, like a pointer to character, or a end of file marker, or file header, file footer. All things are stored here in the file structure. But you cannot, since so many structures, different structures, so minute differences are there. We cannot study that. Second thing is all file structure have been kept transparent by the developers. What I mean by transparent? Details are not, you won't get details of file structure anywhere in the world. Okay. I mean, I have tried a lot to peep inside the file structure and how it works. Okay. But up to certain extent, you can go. Beyond that, nothing is there. Okay. Nothing is there. So forget about that, because गाड़ी लेनी है तो गाड़ी चलानी है बस. How it is designed, how it works, how that is efficient, why it gives so much mileage. Okay. So that should not be concern of a user. So we programmer are going to be user of the file structure. So forget about that, right? But you should know file structure is there in the stdio.h. That's why we include that file stdio.h. And there is a file structure. um, uh, so this is the file structure. Okay. Since we have learned everything, we have learned structure, we have learned type def, everything we know. So you can, at least on the basis of our current knowledge, we can say that this is the definition of the structure. The name of the structure is file. It has been typed there as a file only. So you can use this data type directly as a file, a file, capital A file. You have to use that. And it has got some mode of, okay, so whatever you do, it will be stored in that file structure. So when you create a pointer, rather, first of all, why pointer needs to be created? I will coming to that. But for that, mode is there, then int fh. This must be a file handle, I think. I don't know how they have, because they are not given comments as well. What they are. So buffer is there, right? Buffer end is there, some ptr is there, pointer is there, unsigned char pointers are there, right? These might be pointers to the characters to be accessed from the file. Might be, we do not know. Then get end, put end, back ptr. Okay, this wide character format is there, unsigned char, get back. So all the, you will find different file structure in the different IDEs, right? And different operating systems, different compilers. So this is basically what I have shown is on the Linux OS. Okay, Ubuntu. So this is a file structure, and you cannot create a normal variable of file. You can create a pointer of file, right? Now, what is the important about this file structure is that there is it contains various details like name of the file to which file pointer is going to point, size of the file, these details are there. Then buffer size is there, because it needs, what I talked about, the buffer size, current position, most important aspect as a programmer we should know is current position. That is handled by a pointer member of this file structure and end of file. How end of file is managed, how end of file marker is there, because end of file marker, no, for the DOS it is different, for Windows it is different, for Linux it is different. So end of file markers are different. That I will come to. I will come over there. Okay. So this is a brief picture of a file structure, right? Now, this is about the basic terminology of the file structure. Is it a special data type? Yes, it is a special data type. It is a special data type created by the library. Okay, we do not create that. It is a special data type. It is a user defined. It is not a cannot. Yes, it is a user defined data type. It is a structure, so it is a user defined data type. But not we as a user, that library developers, right? Uh, I have wrongly sentence. Is it a pointer? Um, I should write it as a whether pointer should be created. Yes, pointer needs to be created because if you compare it along with the dynamic memory allocation, you can recall I had used one sentence. Memory on the heap is unnamed memory locations. Okay, that 2 bytes or 4 bytes or array on the heap doesn't have a name, like on the stack. On the stack, when you declare int x, that 2 bytes of or 4 bytes of memory, its name is x or y. But on the contrary, memory allocated on the heap doesn't have a name, right? Its address is stored in the pointer. Similarly, the file has got a name, right? This file pointer has to be created to point to that file. And using that file pointer only, you can do anything, or you have to do everything using the file pointer. So that is the answer to your why pointer is created, right? So that's why pointer is created, right? They ask sometimes with what is a file. The file is a structure, special data type, and it is not a pointer. Many times student, in a matter of haste, they tell it is a file pointer. It is not a file pointer. File pointer is declared by the programmer, right? Now there are two more terms which are used. These are the terms sometimes used in the industry, and you should be aware about that. External name of a file and internal name of a file. Okay, the name of a file you have given. File, no, on the Windows you create a folder and file all these things. The name of the file you have given, that is the external name of a file. And when you create a pointer, that is internal name of a file. Okay, so programmer, once the file is opened using the external name, programmer will deal along with that file using internal name, not external name. So these are some basics about this thing. There are few functions we are going to discuss. Some 10 plus functions are there. Various functions are there. One of the major, as I said in the previous slides, that various file operations are there, but king of that is opening the file. Writing, reading come afterwards. First of all, you have to open, right? Likewise, no, you want to read the book, you have to open. You have to write in the notebook, you have to open the notebook. So that opening is important, first of all. And opening is basically getting the file from hard disk to the main memory or buffer, not main memory, buffer. Right? That is that is the opening process. And that's why in C there is a function called fopen. Okay, file open, fopen, right? It takes two arguments. Okay, first argument is file name. Here it is external file name, right? I am teaching you theoretical stuff intentionally. Some of you may not understand if you are not done C language programming, I mean file handling program, but let it be. Okay, The reason is that once I finish this, when I write the program, I will go back and come forward. Okay, again, because I will at that time I will tell you, okay, this I had told you intentionally. So f open function takes two arguments. Both are strings. Don't forget, both are strings. First argument is file name, external file name, what I talked just in the previous slide. And the second argument is the mode in which you want to open the file. That is also a string. Okay, there is an intention. There is why I'm stressing you string is reason is for that. I will tell you. Now this function, how does this function works is very important. Okay? When you call this function, when you call this function, then similar to the printf or scanf function, these are library functions. Similarly, fopen is a library function. So when this uh, fopen function is executed, inside that fopen function, system calls are there. Okay, system calls are usually for the operating system. Okay, so when fopen function is executed on the basis of arguments, two arguments have been sent. One is name of the file, and another is mode in which you want to open the file. See, both these arguments go inside the definition of the function. Now, on these both arguments, operating system will perform its own task. So, fopen function performs various tasks. First of all, the code of the fopen function establishes link between your program and operating system. That is very important. That's why C is no we call it as a C is a mother of all programming language. Why? Because there is a single function which establishes link between operating system directly and your program. That link is established. That is not an easy task. Prima facie, you will feel what is big deal in that. See, whenever you write the program, you are not coming across the operating system as if you can recall my first chapter, at that time I had told you that when you open the program, when you run the program, operating system gives you data segment and code segment, and control is given to the main function. Got my point? Control is given to the main function. I mean, operating system handed over control to the main function, right? So you are not coming in touch along with the operating system till today. But file handling, this f open function establishes connection between operating system and your program. Now, when I say your program, when you declare a file pointer, very important, listen this carefully. This is not available in books or videos or this thing. When you write a file star some pointer, when you declare a file pointer while writing program, again I will teach. I will repeat this. When you declare a file pointer, buffer is allocated. And fopen function does what? When that code of fopen function is executed, the operating system searches that file written in the first argument, okay, on the hard disk. Okay, it searches for the file, and that file is loaded on the buffer which is already created. Okay, it is loaded in the mode in which you want. In that mode it is open. Okay, and not only that, once it is loaded on the buffer, that buffer is a memory. Somewhere it will be loaded, that image of that file. It has got some address, like array has got base address, right? The file has got address, function has got base address, right? So likewise, that file has got address, that address is written, and since that memory, uh, inside that memory, the image of the file is there, file itself is there. That's why address of that is a file address of the file. That's why on the left hand side, it returns. We say fopen returns a file pointer. The whole process I explained you. Okay, I hope you understood that, right? So multiple functions are no multiple tasks are performed by the fopen function. At the same time, if file doesn't exist, huh, operating system has to take care of that, right? I mean, it may happen that file doesn't exist. Many times it happens, right? Like within the Windows search folder, if you go type something and it will search and it will tell you file doesn't exist, right? Internally, it returns null, right? Similarly, here operating system searches for that file and fopen function returns null if file is not found by the operating system. So file returns a file pointer of file type. That is the third bulleted point, right? Okay, I don't know. I don't remember actually what I explained you. I have written this because I went on speaking. So F1 performs three tasks: searches file on hard disk, it loads the file in buffer, and it sets pointer to first character in the file, right? First character in the file. This is how the file is opened. The very important function fopen, right? And this is a pictorial representation, okay, of the earlier. This is the buffer, okay. This is the buffer, and when fopen function is called, this at the bottom there is a small image, and it is expand. It is magnified at the top, right? So when you open the file, it will be loaded on the buffer. Okay? So this white mark, these three patches are there, three rectangles are there, like a linked list or structure kind of thing is there, right? After all, it is a structure, but uh, it sets up a pointer to initial this thing, first character of the file, right? And from there, file operations will be performed. Right? So if you are reading that file, you will be reading that file from the file loaded on the buffer. Right? Now there are header and footer at both ends. Right? It is called header and footer. Okay. So these are managed by the operating system. Huh? Operating system does that everything, and that header and footer perform contains a lot of information, right? The size of the file. It may happen that file is huge, so complete file is not loaded on the in the buffer. Some part is it may operating system may decide dynamically. It decides whether to load the full file or a part file. If he loads part file, then that footer contains the pointer to that uh, remaining portion of that file on the hard disk. So it is a very complex mechanism. Right? So this is how the buffer works. Right? So FP here is a file pointer. Many students feel that FP is a keyword. Okay? I have observed that. I have got this kind of answers. Okay? So at the time of Viva, no, no, they have got a journal. They have written so many programs because college has given assignments. And at the time of Viva, there and they don't know anything. Many students are there. Okay, the assignment is there, program on the that flow chart is here, and that program is written over there, algorithm, pseudocode, and if I ask them what is this FE, okay, is it a keyword? No. So likewise, I ask them. Okay. So they say yes, it is a keyword. If I say file star PTR, what will happen? No, it will give an error. This is how students answer. Okay, you may not believe it, but the knowledge of some students is really pathetic, and that problem is not of a student. Basically, that problem is of a teacher, how he has taught from the beginning. Okay, from the first chapter, how he has taught that subject. So You can declare FP, FPTR, PTR, file pointer, anything, anything. You can declare, you can give any name. Since it is a mere name. So we know that file structure, right? So you can directly use that file structure. Now this gives you intelligence only because that this is ID and std.out is there, right? So whatever available in the std.out it will give you help. So file, here also there is a open declaration. So you can, let's compare this. I told you, no? See, uh, this is what I have written. File structure in the PPT is different. This is quite different. Type def struct IO buff, right? IO means input output buffer underscore PTR count. CNT is a counter must be there. Some char star base flag is there. File is there. Okay, something is there like this. Okay. Now this is a file structure of which compiler? Dev C++. These are different. Okay, number of items are there. But see, though the file structure is different, that is no worry of that operating system and no library developers. We are not bothered about that. They manage on their own. That's why I told you that we cannot go inside the file structure and how it works. Okay, some brief idea what I have told you, right? Again, this is a different, right? You can see here. Now I think you can no understand the meaning of this. Hash if not defined, hash define. Okay. So if this std.h is defined multiple times, right? Okay. This definition will appear only once. This is taken care by the these include directives, right? Include derivatives, conditional compilation, right? So hash if not defined. I think you can recall this, right? We have done this already. So file, and we declare the pointer. So suppose fptr. Now at this moment, basically buffer is given, is allocated, right? So if we want to open the file, now this is also fptr here, fptr here is fptr here is internal name of a file, right? That is a internal name. I am teaching you which is not taught, right? So if we want to open that file, fptr, because file fopen function returns file pointer, right? fptr is equal to fopen, right? You can see the help. File star is given, okay, there. So what does it mean that file star? It returns a file pointer, right? And it takes two arguments: const char star, right? Constant pointer I have taught you. I have taught you constant pointer, right? Constant pointer, pointer to constant. These are very important because inside the function, if const is not attached, and inside that file, name of the file might be uh, tampered by that code of the fopen function. That's why it is its formal argument is const. I don't know whether you can recall all these things or not, what I have taught already, but const plays a very crucial role. Okay, so fopen and both arguments, right? Suppose I write what uh, sample file as the name of the file, right? And there are modes. read mode, write mode, append mode. Suppose I see for read mode there is R. This is a string, right? This is a string, right? Now, if I compile this program, okay, I don't think there will be any error. Warning is there. FPTR is set but not used. Okay, we won't use that. So if I run this code, program will run, right? But nothing will happen. Why? Because when fopen function is called, the operating system tries to find the file sample file, and it doesn't find that. It doesn't find that. So it returns null, right? So the very next statement should be fptr equal to null, right? We can give the message as file not found, right? And exit. One because one is a convention. Okay. So at least here we will get the message once you, because it indicates that file is not found by the operating system. It gives you message file not found, right? It gives you here. It gives you message as process terminated with status one. No, status one mean what? Error, right? File cannot. This is how fopen works, right? Now, what is the meaning of this? Where does it find? Try to find where operating system will hold hard disk? No, no whole hard disk. It will try to find. It will try to search file in the. If you do not give the path, if you don't give the path, it will give you the. It will find the file in the current folder, right? What is the current folder? This is the current folder, sample01. So suppose uh, where is that file ending? Here. Here's sample01, right? Suppose I create here a file. Suppose I create a text file, right? I create a text file, suppose data file, right? Now nothing is there. You have created on the using the Windows commands, right? Data file, text file is data file, right? So I given the name as data file, right? Now, if I suppose try to find here sample file, it gives error. So I write the data file, right? Let's give extension txt, right? Because that file has got extension .txt, right? Notepad file. Now I will file found, file exists and has been opened, right? So if I run this, compile this code again, right? File exists and has been opened. What does it mean? It searches for this file in the current directory, right? Current directory. Suppose this file is not there, okay, and this file is there. Suppose which folder I can put? Suppose pointers in C, assignment 01, and here suppose I put that file, right? I have to give this whole path as it is. Where? Here. and still we do not know. Let's try. It has got some escape sequence. Yes. This is basically window path in Windows, right? This is basically path in Windows. So we have to write like this so that warning is removed. I think double slash, you know this, right? Now warning is escape sequence P. Where is that P? Okay, here. Have you understood why I put the double slash? Still file not found. Okay, so this path is wrong. Wrong means what? Okay, file name is not given yet. Right? I have to give file name. So what that data file dot txt. File exists and has been opened, right? So operating system has been given the address where to find the file, right? I think you understand the meaning of this. Students do not know this, where it will search for the file. Okay. Many times this is given, this is written like this as well. I'll write here. Okay. Char star file equal to like this. The string is stored here. Right? And instead of declare an array, right, was 200, right? And you can give this as well. Fine. That's it. So this is also valid. There is no problem. What is the problem? Semicolon. Okay. Because this is a string, right, which we stored in the file array. We are sending the name of the file here, so that is valid, right? So there's nothing wrong in that. Sometimes you may find this kind of, right? We'll stop today.